This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details. Just in case you missed it, it's the top 5 sports talkers of the day. Now, it's time for Dan Barrero's Top 5 at 5. Brought to you by Gutter Helmet of Minnesota. Never clean your gutters again. Learn more at gutterhelmetmn.com.
All right, top 5 at 5 now. Jonny Athletic, another ball guy, joins at about 5:30 today. Lavelle, we've talked to Lavelle about all this. He kind of straddles a little bit. Speaking of the jump straddle.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll revisit that with him when he... no, this is our fair week. So what day is Lavelle coming to see us? Do we know yet? Is that still
we
up
do.
in the air?
Lavelle will join you for the second and final hour of Thursday, August 28th, the day that we're out at 5 for Gopher football.
Okay, so the second Thursday.
Second Thursday, he will join at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Although Wabo Bingo, I do have to remind him.
Yeah.
At some point next week.
Well, it's always the day
he told me.
He never is willing to come out other than the day that he's already out for Star Tribune stuff, correct?
Copyright Glen Mason, you're wrong.
Oh.
He did actually want to try to do Friday the 29th, but we are very busy on Friday the 29th, and I said...
Not going to work.
Another day would be better, and he said, let's do Thursday then.
Yes.
So he's going to join Thursday.
Okay.
I can give you the whole schedule if you want right now.
Yeah, why not?
I'll post it too online. I was going to. For what we have so far... On Thursday, the first day, we will have two dogs, of course. Monty Creason's Traveling Reptile Show. That'll be in the 3 o'clock hour. John Bream will join at 4:15.
50 is celebrating, I think September 1st is 50 years.
Labor Day, yep.
At the Star Tribune for him. At covering, pop music.
Being the music critic.
Yeah, the music critic, exactly.
So he will join to talk about his 50th. And the 60th
anniversary, right?
That day.
At Met Stadium that day. Yeah.
21st of 1965. And then Kessler's coming out day one.
Oh, day one as well. Yep. That's a busy Thursday.
So Kessler's not going to be here on Wednesday.
Okay.
We're going to bump him to Thursday.
All right.
Friday, out at 5 because of the pivotal Vikings preseason game against the Titans. Right now, we have Andrew Zimmern in the 4 o'clock hour, probably 4:15, 4:30.
Okay, nice.
Hoping 4:15 so that we're not squeezed before we have to get out at 5. And I assume we'll probably have Lori Fisher come by.
Yeah, we can do that.
To try to give her another opportunity to not make a mess of...
To redeem herself?
Yeah, because she's very bad on the radio. But we're going to give her a chance. We're going to give her a try. She's great on TV, not great on the radio. We're going to give her a chance Friday. Monday, wow. And we'll work on Sunday too cool. As we go. I don't have anything for the Sundays yet.
Yeah, we'll get there. The Chief and I have been playing phone tag. I'm hoping we keep our tradition going. I think the Chief has joined us the second Sunday. In other words, the day before Labor Day. So I'm going to try for that. Although he's retired now, so maybe he could be in and out of town. So we'll try to get him on one of the 2 Sundays for sure.
Monday the 25th, Chip Scoggins will join you in the 3 o'clock hour.
I was just texting with him. By the way.
There you go.
And who knew?
Don Plitzowite will join you at 4.
Okay.
Tuesday, the 26th, Luigi will be out there at 4:30. Wednesday, we've got Nico Medved and Pat Kessler.
Nice.
Thursday, we have Russo Radio and Lavelle. Friday, the 29th, Bill Guerin at 3:15. Will Kaprizov be signed?
No.
Will he bring Kaprizov with him?
That'd be a hell of a story if he did.
Maybe that's why he's on the 29th.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Where's Conley? Tim Conley?
That you're going to have to work on that.
Yeah, he comes and goes.
You're going to. I'll give you the days that we're open.
You might have checked with media relations guy too.
I did.
Rattle the cage there.
Well, I did, and he said, "Yeah, here he wants to go. We don't have anything official." And I said, "Okay, then we'll put it out there for him." But he brought it up, right?
He did. He texted me exactly. I was minding my own business.
We're working on Conley, but Friday
I was minding my own business, whining about the Twins' payroll.
You were watching the quiz with balls,
and watching the quiz with balls.
And Conley was texting you. Bill Guerin, Ben Gessling, Jonny Athletic.
Should we change the name of Bumper to Bumper to The Show with Balls?
And we could use the Zimmer bit.
Yeah, that's it.
He's got big balls. Where is it? The Show with Balls.
You still save that one?
We could make a billboard and say Ballsy.
He's got big balls.
The Show with Balls.
Never been done.
I love it.
Friday, August 29th. Guerin, Gessling.
SWB for short.
Guerin, Gessling. I just want to get to Friday.
Okay, sorry.
Guerin, Gessling, Jonny Athletic.
Oh, man. That's good. That's a good list.
Others we will plug in. The Big Knocker has agreed. Mayo Clinic Big Knocker, Bill Maurice.
You have reached out to the Honorable Alan Page.
I have. Given a couple of options there.
And we've even offered up an opportunity to come in here if he didn't want to come to the fair before the fair starts. So
Ben Lieber will join you. That's confirmed. We just don't know when.
Nice.
He's going to walk over from his TV show.
Perfect.
We mentioned Tim Conley. Tim Cheetah will always come by.
we going to have time for all these folks?
We're getting squeezed. I'm telling
maybe
you.
Cheetah, maybe that's the first Sunday.
Kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, not
We've
a bad
done that
thought.
before.
Yeah.
There's also a movie director that is kind of interesting that is
that you mentioned to me?
putting together a documentary about the Minnesota State Fair that I'm working on as well. I think that would be something different. And then we'll see. Do we want to have Royce come out on the day that he's out there?
Are there any movies being developed or any producers interested in doing a story about how cheap the Pohlads are? Because, of course, we would gravitate towards that.
Excuse me?
We could fund that.
Yeah, we probably could.
We could probably do a GoFundMe with KFAN Rubes.
How's the T-shirt selling, by the way?
Pretty good.
Not bad?
Pretty good.
What's on the T-shirt again?
From Dong Show to Gong Show.
Gong Show, available now. It'll be at the fair.
Yes.
But it's available now via KFAN.com. Just click on the search icon upper right, and you'll have all sorts of...
Keyword Gong.
Keyword Gong, sorry.
Keyword Gong is what you want to say.
You'll have many size options there as well.
So I'm very pleased with how it's all seemingly come together. But
good.
as we know, every day's different at the fair. Things change, and we'll work on a few other
Will
things.
sermons be from the fair this Sunday? The answer is yes. We will be at the fair each State Fair Sunday. We will not be working, as far as I know, Labor Day Monday.
Correct.
We did that last time. We did that was for Kreger's. Was it like 3 years ago?
It was 2 or 3.
2 or 3 years ago.
Specifically for Kilborn.
We did
I
it
don't
for
think
him.
he's coming.
No, I don't think he is either. Although I did suggest if Cato Kalin would commit, I'd be willing to do a Labor Day show. He's got to be excited about his Brewers Club right now, doesn't he? But he's also not local. So
Now he lives in Toluca Lake. Toluca Lake, California.
Sounds very fashionable.
It's very nice.
Okay.
It looks nice.
All right, what do we got?
Justin Jefferson returned to practice today. Kevin O'Connell told the Jackals.
Well, kinda.
Be a nice day to be at practice, by the way.
Individual drills.
Yes, I'm going to get to it.
Oh, okay, sorry.
But it's better than what he was doing when we were there the
He
last
looked like
time.
he was moving fine to me.
Yeah.
He's fine. I think he was milking it a little bit.
It was a hold in. He just didn't want to
He
practice.
just didn't want to, yeah.
So he did individual drills, did not do much with the team, but he was back out there. The Vikings have 2 more days of kind of official training camp before they head to Tennessee for the 3rd and final preseason game. Jalen Naylor is week to week with that
that's
hand
not
injury
helpful.
per Kevin O'Connell, trying to determine the best course of action for his return. O'Connell would not say today if surgery is a possibility. So
We got no replacement. Well, let's be honest. We have no replacement right now for Addison for the first 3 weeks. We don't have anybody. We don't. Other than if you want to say we're just going to heavily use the tight ends.
yeah, or just run the ball a lot.
I'll believe that when I see
Run the
it.
ball against the Bears, Falcons, and Bengals,
Yeah.
and then go overseas and unleash
That'd be nice.
the entire
Be a
Kevin
nice way to
O'Connell
do it,
offense.
for sure.
Speaking of Kevin O'Connell offense, one of his former quarterbacks, Matt Stafford, returned to practice today.
He did.
That was the score one for the Immortal Chamber.
I thought he was done.
He returned to practice. What's today? The 18th. He returned today and did a good job today, according to head coach Sean McVay. Said, but here's where the doublespeak happens. He was a full participant in an hour-long practice, told reporters, did McVay, Stafford looks good, but added he doesn't have any further updates. So he's at least out there. It was at least out there today after burying himself in that immortal chamber that we talked so much about last week.
Yeah, that's right.
So there you go.
Seemed to be effective.
Odd situation.
It is a strange situation because I thought
situation.
it was this weekend. It sounded kind of ominous. So now you said he was out there, but I don't know what you make of that. Whether that necessarily means he's going to be ready for the start of the season.
Lastly, we got a text earlier in the show about the first PJ Fleck radio show. That will be tonight at 7 o'clock. If you missed it on the Plus, if you listen to Bumper and said, I want PJ now, you could have gone to KFAN Plus. I bring up the Gophers because they have until tomorrow at noon, basically a sale on tickets for the opening game. You know how I always rip them for their ticket prices are too high? Not so fast, my friends, for Buffalo. Get in price $10. Some lower levels for as low as $19.50. You can sit midfield for $50, but only until tomorrow at noon.
I see.
Gophersports.com.
So wait, I'm all confused. So during the season, when is the PJ Flex show going to be on?
Tuesdays at noon.
Oh, I see. Okay, so that hasn't changed.
Today was a weird
today
one
was just
because of
odd.
schedules and
So it'll be on at 7 tonight, you said?
7 o'clock tonight
Okay.
right here on the Fan.
Okay, so after Fan and the Man in the Air.
Exactly right.
All right.
There you go.
Were you in on it?
I was not because I was here.
Was it controversial?
I don't know. I was listening to you, not them. They did it at 3.
Was it? So it was PJ and Grimm and Ron Johnson?
Daryl Thompson.
Daryl Thompson, you said. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So-
Ron Johnson's TV guy.
He is. We will
On
be
a
there.
lot of Gopher
We
stuff.
will be there Thursday at noon for the first PJ Fleck TV show at the fair.
Is that right?
It is. And I have to host it because Pierre's on his honeymoon.
Oh, I forgot about that.
So I've got to be like, welcome back to Fox 9. We're here at the booth.
He's not in Turks and Caicos, is he? I see there's like a big hurricane down there. Or at least a tropical storm.
He's taking pictures of elephants. He's on a beach. He's somewhere nice.
Okay, all right.
My guy, the news.
Hope it's going well.
So there you go.
All right, we'll stay on schedule. Don't forget, Johnny is going to join us in about 15 minutes. Don't go away.
The Fan.
State Fair collection right around the corner, but as we've told you for a while, we couldn't keep this one hidden. You can snag your From Dong Show to Gong Show shirt today in the KFAN Pro Shop. KFAN.com, keyword Gong to secure yours.
Is back. I have not watched in their entirety the last couple of episodes, but I think he's back regularly on via HBO. And he had on his panel this week a writer named Walter Kern, I believe, who Kern wrote. Remember the George Clooney motion picture? Did you ever see a movie Up in the Air?
Oh yeah,
terrific film.
It is a good movie. Gutting at the end, I think.
Big time. You're 100% right.
Yeah.
Not that that's even remotely possible to ever happen to George Clooney, but
I think that's why it was surprising.
Well, that's probably true.
Yeah,
exactly it. But I believe he wrote the book that the movie was based on, if I'm not mistaken. He wrote it in 2001. I don't know if he would describe himself as a conservative at this point, but he's on Fox a lot. He did a lot. He has become rather conservative. So he's a member of the panel, and I don't know exactly what the context of the subject was during the panel discussion. You're gonna mainly hear Maher, and then you're gonna hear Kern chide Maher a little bit, and then you're gonna hear Maher reply to the chide, and it's the reply here that actually interests me the most. But we'll give you the entire. It was about a minute and a half soundbite.
It is.
It's not very long. Let's listen to the exchange, and then we'll talk about it.
It's funny, I see that today is the anniversary of Woodstock. This is 56 years ago. And the hippies, what did they hate more than anything else? War. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. So if you're the kind of person who says, you can find some good in anybody, this would be the good in Donald Trump. He really does not like war. Thailand and Cambodia were firing at each other. Rwanda and the Congo. Most people don't even know about these. India and Pakistan, Armenia, Azerbaijan. He got involved in all of them. He doesn't really, he wants to. Now, the way he does it, as usual, not, with Ukraine, the solution was, surrender. Give Putin everything he wants. And even that didn't work. That's the thing. He gave Putin anything he wanted, and it didn't work. But again, let's not have the zombie lie that he's still backing Putin, because, first of all, he bombed Iran. That was a Putin ally. He didn't get out of NATO.
No.
He mended fences with NATO. So, and he put sanctions back on Russia. So,
You're really coming around, Bill.
I'm not coming around. There's no coming around. There's just to what's true. This is true. Right. I don't come around. I'm not on anybody's team. I'm on the team. I'm on what's right, what's true, what happened. This is what happened. He just doesn't like war.
It's the bumper to bumper seal of approval.
That crystallizes what I like about Maher. And again, you don't even have to agree with him. But Maher's saying, I don't want to be on your team. And I'm not coming around, Walter Kern, to your point of view. I'm saying in this particular situation, with this particular set of facts, it's worth noting. And he's right. It is worth noting. Now, does that mean there's any chance that Trump is going to do anything but capitulate to Putin, as he already has? I'm not holding my breath, but I'll play it out. I'll follow the story and see where it goes. But that's what I respect about Maher, is he's not trying to join the Sharks or the Jets, or if that's a Shark position, therefore you're coming around to my position. Well, no, on this subject, this narrowly tailored, this is, to me, worth mentioning. That's not me trying to get patted on the head by anybody. And I've said this for many, many years. It's why I tend to respect how he attempts to tackle political issues and offer opinion and analysis. That what it means is he might surprise you. Even if you think you know him as a traditionally classic liberal, which is what he's generally been, he's going to surprise you. And last time we had him on, we talked about the fact that a lot of people have said to him, "Oh, you've changed." And by the way, you're allowed, I thought. See, that's the funny thing. We're allowed to evolve as long as you end up in the position that you want that person to agree with.
Then evolving's good.
Then evolving's good.
Yeah.
You are allowed to evolve in a lot of different directions. But his point, and I think there's some truth to it, is that he hasn't changed so much as the Democratic Party, at least regarding the split between what would be classified as traditional liberals and the progressives. That's two completely different planets that they tend to live on. And he's saying, yeah, no, I'm still holding to certain principles. It's the party that I'm most closely associated with that has changed. And to a certain extent, the same thing can be said about Republicans as well. So that, I think, is worth noting. Now, again, where this is headed with Zelensky, I have, no idea. I think it's hard to know how much attention to spend on the rhetoric, because there's no question that if you do the compare and contrast between the last time Zelensky was in that same chair without the suit on, getting absolutely blindsided and obliterated, scolded, lectured by not just the president but the vice president, with what took place today, you'd say maybe something's afoot here. Maybe there is a real attempt to get something done, because he was not scolded. He being Zelensky, he was not admonished. He was complimented on the new suit, which is. I had somebody earlier say, how can you care about somebody's suit? It's obvious you never served. You've never had to dodge bullets. There's children being killed. And I texted him back and I said, well, that's the point. The point is that this stuff is so important that whether Zelensky comes to the Oval Office in a suit or not should be the least of anybody's concerns. And by the way, there's a history behind allegedly why he dresses post Russia invading Ukraine that is directly related to the decision he's made there. But my whole point was we shouldn't be spending 30 seconds other than jocularly on this suit subject, that this stuff is way too serious. The idea that last time around this actually became a focal point of the conversation seemed kind of difficult and silly. So again, the fact that there are, is it 7 or 8, I think, European countries whose leaders are also meeting with Zelensky and the president. The approach from Trump has tended to be almost dismissive of other leaders. We do what we do, and we don't really need anybody else's interference or anybody's help. Is this a sign that he's, at least on this issue, starting to understand the nature of actually trying to get something done? Or is this, I hate to put it this way, but is this all ego? In that there's not any question that he craves the, I guess you could say, approval that he assumes he would get if Trump is actually able to broker a deal. And quite frankly, as we talked about with Kessler, as much as he wants the Nobel Peace Prize. But as Kessler said, if it's a real deal that gets brokered, he probably would earn the Nobel Peace Prize. the question is whether the deal is going to be real. He has tended still to make too many allowances for Putin and not enough allowances for Zelensky, and then he gets pear-shaped. Like his tangent today was about voting by mail.
Yeah,
and here's how tone deaf he is. Did you see who he named, who he used as proof that mail voting is a bad idea? Putin. Case closed. Well, that's it now. Now do you see why I'm against it? Vladimir Putin's against it. You go, well, what are you doing? What planet are we on here? But I'm pretty far away from the original point, which is, and you could tell, like, Kern was like, didn't know what to say because
he got scolded pretty well. I liked how he turned it real quick.
Yeah. Now, Kern, again, I think may not have meant it. He may have just been playing a little bit.
Getting the laughs in the crowd.
Yeah. But my guess is with Maher, it's like, no, I don't want to encourage that because that's why we're in the position we're in here that, oh, yeah, you want to be on my team after all, don't you? As opposed to, no, I want to try to follow the story. And he's trying to make a larger point. Whether you agree with him or not is fine. You don't have to. But I think that's the on this show, the objective of trying to get somewhat to that place where you're not trying to be on anybody's team. You're just trying to follow the story. And if it leads one way on one occasion and a different way the next, then so be it. That's the way it's going to be. But we're all, part of the reason we're screwed up is the degree to which we feel loyalty to these teams, because when that loyalty gets out of whack, it's, well, I know we're kind of vulnerable on this, but I can't acknowledge that because that gives sustenance to my enemy. So I'll pretend that there's no real issue there that we have to deal with on our side of the aisle. Jonny Athletic. We'll talk baseball. That's next. He's loves to talk Twins, loves to talk Pohlads. That's next.
It's time for Jonny Athletic. Jonny Athletic. Jonny Athletic. And he's on the Dan Barrero right now.
We are, Gaardsy, getting a bit admonished for not including, at least in the top 5 at 5, if not sooner, in the show, the fact that the wind chill knocked off the undefeated 12-0 Chicago Union in the Central Division Championship round to reach, yet again, championship weekend for an opportunity to defend the Ultimate Frisbee title.
That's Friday night. I know that.
You've been there.
I've been to Seafoam Stadium. I have.
Yeah, that's it.
Didn't they win like a week ago, though?
That sounds dominant. Was that a week ago? Well, but I don't know that we've ever acknowledged it.
Oh, we haven't yet?
I'm not sure that we have.
Yeah, and they lost the night I was there. They lost the season opener to Chicago.
Bad luck. You're bad luck, man.
Maybe I am. They lost to Chicago another time, though, too.
Well, maybe it's a yearly thing at the fair, because last year we celebrated their victory. They came out to see us. Maybe the same thing will happen again in 2025.
If we have to bump Jonny Athletic to make it happen, we'll do it.
You don't mind that, do you? You're always taking one for the team.
Always, Dan. I'll step aside for it. What the question I have is, if you haven't acknowledged it, did it really happen? That's the thing.
That's why I'd like to think that's true. Jonny, are you familiar with a TV game show called Quiz with Balls?
I am not familiar with this. What kind of TV are you watching?
It's on Fox. It's on the network. I watched it last night.
That is a nice package.
The Bears preseason game against the Buffalo Bills. It's called The Quiz with Balls.
Okay. I don't want to see the search history on your computer at home. So
I was lamenting that in order to win at the end of that episode $100,000, the contestant had to answer 2 questions. One of them was, in what decade did MLK offer his I Have a Dream speech?
Oh.
And the second one was, in what decade, and the choices, by the way, for this last one, this happened either in the 1940s or the 1970s, Watergate, White House plumbers, Woodward and Bernstein. The 40s or the 70s.
It gave you multiple choices.
Yes, and those the answer to that question, which he got right, stunningly, was worth $100,000. I think we have lowered the standards at many of these game shows when it comes to difficulty of question.
That is incredible.
Yes.
And I am surprised that the purse was that large, because I have occasionally I will check in on like The Price is Right and a few of those like daytime game shows. They're not exactly giving away cars anymore, and if they are, it's a golf cart or something like that. So that's stealing $100,000 right there. You should get extra taxes, like a stupid tax, if you didn't get that one
I
right.
think so too. It's absolutely unbelievable. All right, I have to bring you into this ball guy stuff, which is dangerous because you're not a card carrying member, and so to that
I'm not
extent,
bona fide.
you might be dismissed as not being qualified to discuss any of this. But I can't help it. It's increasingly maddening the degree to which we get into these conversations that all Twins fans are irrational fools who would be incapable, by the way, of answering either of those questions correctly, because they all demand and expect the Twins to spend $300 million a year on payroll, and they don't understand, have no nuance about the fact that markets this size, the teams largely have to build from within, and that's what's going to be the key to it. And I'm officially, I guess, tired of the series of straw men that have been created, because it is my belief, and this is where I need your input, it's my belief that most rational Twins fans do get and don't ask that the Twins spend $300 million on payroll and go after the one player who's going to be more expensive than any other. And they do understand that success is always based on a mixture, and that without growth within, it's not going to really matter how much money the Twins spend. But the straw man becomes, it's always the Pohlad's fault. Never anybody else's fault. They expect unrealistic, they have unrealistic demands about how much this team's going to spend, and they just don't understand the nuances of this game, how important it is to develop within. I think that's why I'm standing tall for fans, because I don't think most of them are irrational on any of those subjects.
I couldn't agree with you more, Dan. And I there certainly are the vocal minority out there who say,
yes,
well, you built the ballpark, so why don't you sign Juan Soto? Like that,
right.
There is the irrational one out there. Of course, if you look hard enough, you can find those viewpoints and those cynical people who are generally just trying to get a rise out of the normal fan. But I think the vast majority, at least, I live here, I walk the streets, I talk to people I know, even though I'm not over there working at the ballpark, I certainly can get a finger on the pulse. And I do think that most Twins fans do have a realistic viewpoint on what is attainable here in this market, in that ballpark, and what they expect to happen. And honestly, Dan, I do think that certainly there is payroll that comes into it, and there's discussions about that, especially when you cut $30 million from your payroll the minute you have some success in the playoffs. That's not going to go well. There's no possible way the franchise can sell that and say, well, no, we've got to build within. You're going to take bullets for that. I honestly think the biggest problem right now that the Twins are facing, that the Pohlads are facing, is a perception problem that they don't really get too wound up about this, that they don't really care if they win or lose by some of the decisions that they are making. There is a palpable vibe around that franchise that the ownership does not really live and die with the success and failures of this team the way that the fans do. And I think that is the biggest hill or mountain that this group has to climb, and I don't even know if they can climb it without selling the team outright, which they're not going to do.
Which they're obviously not going to do at this point. And, the other thing is, I think we'll agree, it's their team. They never had to sell it, but none of these decisions, unless you want fans who literally are so worn down by it that they don't care about anything, I guess I just don't understand how you can't understand that folks might be annoyed when, to a certain extent, you raise hopes by announcing we're going to move on. For better or worse, it's time. We're going to get somebody else in here. We're going to move on. And then they do the 180, which, again, they have every right to do. But fans are going to react to that. I go back to the Sonny Gray year. Sonny Gray probably didn't want to stay here. I don't know if he would have stayed, even if the Twins had offered $30 million. You can argue that that's too much money for Sonny Gray, but I'll tell you that there's a lot more contracts that I find more offensive than what he was giving them as a starting pitcher, and I think he's still having a pretty good year this year with St. Louis. But that even if you can't keep him, are people not allowed to notice? Well, then you haven't really replaced him, right? That's the weird. That's the oddity of this. It's like, no, you can't get mad when there's no way they're going to keep him, but you also are not allowed to notice that creates a gap, right? In a loss at a key position that you had a year ago. In any other sport, it would be considered automatic that fans would go, well, God, what are you going to do to fix that? Or who can you replace him with? Or how are you going to fill that in? For some reason, ball fans, according to the ball guys, are not allowed to respond that way. I don't I for the life of me, don't understand why there's this certain standard as it pertains to this franchise.
And it would have been different in that specific case, Dan, if they had some stud prospect that was coming up that, they were waiting in the wings and saying, okay, we're going to let him go because we think pitcher X is going to slot in in one of the top two slots in the rotation. And we're just going to keep going because we've done a good job of drafting and developing, an ace level pitcher. But they didn't have that. On a smaller scale, the Timberwolves can say goodbye to Nickeil Alexander-Walker because he got a big payday that they didn't want to pay because they believe that Terrence Shannon Jr. and Jalen Clark and Rob Dillingham are capable of filling in there. They have done a good job of drafting talent and developing and at least giving young guys with promise a chance next year. We'll see if it works out or not.
Yes.
But I think with the Twins, the problem was that they had this breakthrough moment, this unbelievably magical moment in Target Field, and the fans were going crazy. They'd waited forever and ever for this chance to celebrate playoffs, and you still had a fairly young team that could grow together and you could build on it and go. And there are times to push all your chips into the middle of the table, to spend a little bit extra, and then there are times to back off. And that was not a time to back off, certainly not to the degree that they did and to slash payroll the way that they did. And if you're going to do that, you better have real viable options coming up through the system that are ready to step in and go right away. But they just squandered and slammed shut a window that had no business being closed. And
you're suggesting that Twins fans had a right to be frustrated by that, correct? By that decision?
Of course, okay. Yes.
Because I've said it's their team. They can say, They can justify to themselves and try to justify to other people, man, we lost a lot of money on the regional TV deal. And I'd say again, technically, it is their decision. It's their call. But that's not going to prevent people from noticing, right? People can say, all right, you can do that, but I'm not going to ignore it. I can't pretend that gap has not been increased in my I guess, interest in the program if you've decided to cut by $30 million. It's your team. It's your right. But again, with the ball guys, it's almost like, well, what are you mad about? They really weren't that close anyway. You're pretending they were close. This even came up last year. They have a great first half, right? They're in position to make the playoffs again. They do nothing at the trade deadline. They get one pitcher who had more wild pitches, I think, than innings pitched. He lasted about 15 minutes, and they got nothing else. And you know what we heard afterwards from the ball guys? Well, the people who collapsed were the players that are already on the team. So it was academic that they didn't do anything. That's missing the point. The point is, at the time those decisions were made, you chose to not go out and enhance your position, fill in a couple of gaps, maybe give the team a little extra help, but we're not supposed. But again, fans are not allowed to complain about it, allegedly, because, well, the main players here played badly after that anyway. So what's your gripe? What's your complaint? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Here is the crux of that argument. I could hear it from an organization that has built up the credibility over years and years of being remarkably competitive. Let's say it's the Tampa Bay Rays, who don't spend money, but they say, we're going to draft and develop. This is the way that we have to play in this ballpark, in this market. And then they are regularly very competitive, and they have some success in the playoffs. They haven't won a World Series, but they have real success, and they've shown that they can do it, and they've done it years over years in a row. And so even when they have steps back, it's like, you know what? Okay, this was an off year. We're going to believe in the history and in the track record of this organization to do it that way. The Twins had, prior to 2023, when they had the victory in the playoffs, they hadn't won a playoff game in forever. And prior to that playoff win, they had finished 14 games back in 2022, 20 games back in 2021. Like they haven't been in the mix in a long time. And so by an organization asking for that blind faith that what they're going to do is going to work out is asking a lot of a fan base that has not been rewarded for that consistently over the last 15 years. And so I understand why people are saying, man, we're doing this again. What have we seen so far that says, okay, now that you are going down this road, that it is going to bear fruit? You can always point to the Houston Astros, who tore it all down, to the studs, and then built up an incredible competitor and won the World Series and did all those things. That's really, really hard to do. So it takes a lot of faith that you have to have built up, and I just don't think they have it, especially at the ownership level, to believe that they are going to do the right things, make the right decisions, and then invest when it needs to be invested in, to take it from the building portion to competitiveness and contender status.
I'll give you another ridiculous straw man argument that you get at this point, and that is, given the financial realities of this market from a baseball standpoint, given their lack of revenue from a regional TV deal, and that baseball at large still hasn't really, they're trying, but they haven't come up with a revolutionary answer. What the hell do you expect that a new owner is going to come in and do? And again, it's cleverly asked, because the answer is none of us know. And none of us know that, in fact, that the next owner might be worse. But the assumption is that somebody new willing to spend the money, if they had been, and if a deal had gotten done, is going to be in this with a bit more motivation early. Now, am I not getting his knees cut off later and to say, my God, what did we do? And the Pohlads were right, and there's no upside to spending any money here. But the idea was someone whose general demeanor and approach and track record, because this is the Pohlad's track record, isn't, oh man, can't do that. Oh, we got to cut here. Oh, this is tough. Do you realize how tough this is? Someone who is unburdened by that history to say, we got some ideas. We may end up going nowhere, but we're going to try some things because this is our new baby, right? Again, fans aren't foolish in assuming that Superman's going to come in here. But I think they're saying we know who the next group wouldn't be, and chances are perhaps they would be a bit more motivated and would take, at least at the start, a bit of a different approach.
For sure. Yeah, I am not going to be blind to the fact that there are some financial difficulties within baseball. Even the NBA has seen it as well, with the regional TV networks and the RSNs kind of falling apart and trying to pivot to some new kind of model that both makes money and grows the fan base, which I think is a huge issue for baseball. And those that is reality. That's for sure. You have to acknowledge that part of it. But I think what the response to that is, if this is so hard, Pohlad family, if it is really such a burden on you, then get out.
Yes.
Then just don't do it, right? And that someone else who presumably buys the team is going to want to do it. And yes, you're right. There could be some major mistakes that they make in hirings and firings and whatever they want to do. But there's no question that a new ownership group is going to come in and be invested in trying to grow this thing and make it better. They're going to want to be the owners of the Minnesota Twins because they paid whatever, $1.7 billion or whatever they would end up paying for it. And I think right now, again, whether it's fair or unfair, I do believe that a lot of fans out there look at the Pohlads and say, do you really even want to be the owners of the Twins? Is this something that you want to do, or is this something that is a burden to you that's just been a part of your family for a long, long time now? And so I think that's the response to that is, yeah, it does not guarantee that things would be better. There would still be huge issues to deal with, but you would have a new energy and a new, I think, passion and enthusiasm that I think a lot of fans are not feeling with this ownership group right now.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Jonny Athletic is joining us as per usual on this lovely, well, if a bit moist Monday afternoon here in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. When are slated for the Great Minnesota Get-Together, or is that still to be negotiated?
I believe it's the 29th, Friday the 29th. So coming in at the end of next week and trying to finish it with a bang.
Isn't that the day we're out early? Oh, no, we're out Thursday that week. Yeah, Gopher game. By the way, I think Sauce says he might join me once because Gaardsy won't be available on the Thursday, the second Thursday, because that's the Gopher game. Is it time for you, Johnny, to reconnect with Goldie Gopher a little bit? When's the last Gopher game you've covered?
The last Gopher game I covered was the Wisconsin game that they lost after the Penn State win.
That's a long time ago.
And yeah, because I covered the Penn State win,
ago?
which was a long time ago.
Man.
Yeah, and it was that Penn State game was awesome. And then the Wisconsin game came around, and it was like, oh, what a buzzkill! And I have not been back since. That is true.
Wow, I think you might want to just start to get reacquainted with the program a little bit.
I'd love to. I mean, I do. I enjoy college football. I think I like PJ Fleck. I think he does a good job, especially churning out NFL talent with the program. I'd love to see the Gophers be a factor, and so if they can build some momentum and be in contention, yeah, I'll get over there and try and spin a yarn or two. So maybe a little extra motivation for PJ and Gaardsy and Paul Rovnak and all the fine folks over there. If you start playing well, Gophers, and get up into the top 10 or so, I will be there to paint a picture for everyone who can't be there.
When you say top 10, you mean top 10 in the conference or top 10 in the country?
No. Oh, man. Damn.
Well, there's like 105 teams in the conference now.
I think those are both the same.
That's true.
If you're in the top 10 of the Big Ten, you're right there.
You're right. That's true.
That might be.
That might be.
Absolutely. Just like I want a late October, early November game with real stakes. And let's recreate the Penn State game and go for it, man.
You got high standards. It's unbelievable. And possibly high standards for the Twins and possibly high standards for the Gophers. One of the theories regarding the Wolves' schedule is that we're on national TV so often early that we will have no choice but to take the beginning of the season more seriously than we did a year ago. Do you buy that theory?
I'd like to say so, but I do not buy it. National TV or not, I will say with this group, I don't know that that's been something that they really get up for. Mm-hmm. It's more of the opponent, but I do think most of those national TV games are against good opponents, and so they're not playing, the Portland Trailblazers, on national TV, and so. I think that'll the better chance for this national TV schedule, especially early, providing some wins for them, is that they will be playing good teams that they will look at and say, okay, we better bring our best tonight, and that'll give them a chance to get off to a good start.
So, do I have this? Do I understand this correctly? With all the various platforms now involved with the NBA, that in effect, if you're a Rube pro basketball fan, there's going to be a national TV game for you every night of the week.
Yeah, I think so. So it's Peacock, it's NBC, it's ABC, ESPN. There's there's one, essentially one a night or a national slate every night for you. So that's pretty cool. Now the question will be, which I can't, answer just yet. It's like how accessible all that is. How many subscriptions do you need?
You need them all.
What exactly do you have to sign up for? like all that stuff. Like that's still, I'm trying to get my mind around all of that because it's really confusing, but the accessibility is going to be there if you want to spend a few bucks.
I've got one text I want to read before we bid adieu to you today. It sounds like Jonny Athletic doesn't realize that we won a World Series in 1991.
I was let's see. Yeah, I was 12 years old in 91. It was one of the formative experiences of my youth. That's why I'm a sports writer, is because of the 87 and 91 Twins. I get that bug bit. Now I want it happening for my son and my daughter. That would be nice, around here.
I'm just saying, you got awfully high standards. Awfully high standards. You can't win a World Series all the time, Johnny.
One more time. That'd be nice.
Yeah, the playoffs would be nice, wouldn't it? I wouldn't hold your breath on that anytime soon, but
I am not.
Again,
I'm not holding my breath.
Baseball's a funny game. Maybe a bunch of stuff comes together next year very, very quickly. Because, hey, look at the Brewers. Their payroll is about $42 million, and they got the best team in baseball.
Yeah.
See, there's your proof that you guys who are all hung up on money and payroll don't understand it. Don't understand the game.
It's always smart, I found, to point to anomalies as and make those the rule. That's good. But, hey, all I know, Dan, is we got the Great Minnesota Get-Together coming up. It is the best state fair in the country.
Yes, it is.
And so we are champions in the state fair realm, and we've been that way for as long as I've been alive.
And we
got that dynasty going.
There are rumors that drier air is headed our way. I won't believe it till I see it and feel it, but that would be after the cruel summer we have been dealt between rain and mugginess, etc. It'd be a very nice change. So hope for that, and look forward to seeing you next week. Our State Fair.
Can't wait, Dan. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Jonny Athletic, kind enough to join us via the Connecticut Water Systems hotline. Don't go. Here are a couple sample questions in the Quiz with Balls Minnesota Sports Edition. Okay. Can you name the Wild's biggest free agent signing now that the Parisi Suter buyouts have expired?
I'm getting hit with the ball. I don't think I could. Who would that be?
Can you name a quarterback on the Gopher roster?
I can do that.
Actually, that for a lot of casual fans is tougher than you think. You can. I bet you a lot of people can't.
I've heard there's some news people that have transposed his name.
Oh, seriously?
Called him Lindsey Drake.
That's not good.
Not ideal.
No.
But you know what? They'll know in a couple weeks.
Craig from Minneapolis, President Zelensky had the best looking suit of all the people in the meeting. I think, are they still meeting? Because now apparently we're hearing that the meeting between the president and Zelensky and the NATO, the European leaders, was paused for a 40-minute phone conversation between Trump and Putin.
Interesting.
Presumably to discuss some of the stuff that, that they may be talking about regarding whatever let's face it. There's going to be horse trading involved in this thing if it's going to get done. The question is how demanding Putin is going to be and how tenacious. Not Zelensky, because I think Zelensky would be fairly tenacious, but those on the European and Trump side are going to be, especially in the case of Donald J. Trump. Trump on the hot mic apparently saying, I think Putin wants to make a deal for me.
For him.
And we've said this as recently as Friday. He's the most, I think most people agree, transactional president likely in the history of the country. That's, do it for me. He'll do it for me. So we'll see exactly how that goes. Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line. There's some other texts to get to here late in the broadcast. Couple people responding to a largely baseball discussion with ball guy Jonny Athletic. Guys collapsed last year, collapsed this year. Absolute right decision was to fire the manager. Should have been the first thing they did. A lot of players didn't get better, needed accountability. Bottom line, ownership didn't care and made a horrible decision. What they did was appalling. Will take 5+ years to recover. Did you see the comments from Pablo Lopez in the Pioneer Press? Now, maybe it was a group interview. I don't know. I credited it to Shipley, Pioneer Press, because that's where I read it. I don't know if it was a one-on-one or, in a group.
I think I did, yeah.
And it's one of those quotes that at first blush you go, whoa, that's pretty interesting. Although he never really developed it, I guess. And it had to do with the fact that we got to have a chance, if nothing else, to reshape the culture here, and we need it reshaped because it's been a problem. I'm paraphrasing the last year and change. But he didn't really I don't think, elaborate on, well, what exactly is the problem, other than it sounds like when it goes bad for us, we don't know how to stay strong enough to get out of it quickly. But again, however you want to characterize those comments, I don't think they're positive for Rocco.
That's it.
Because he's the manager of the team, and you would assume he's got to be well aware, does Pablo, that we usually associate, that job with the manager, right?
Culture is one thing we've been lacking the last couple of years.
Yeah. So
culture is a big word. We have fun with it all the time. But
we do.
It is important.
And it's generalized there, and it's hard to know exactly what he means, but it certainly didn't sound positive. And it broadly speaking, under that category, you'd say, well, isn't that what you pay the manager to do?
Yeah, manager, coaches.
So I did raise my eyebrows at that and wonder what other reaction there might be to it. I have no idea. Didn't he just? Am I crazy? When's the last contract extension Rocco signed? Did he sign one at the end of last year? Or am I wrong?
I think he did. He got an exercise option.
Okay.
Or an option exercised, I think, right? An option exercised, I think, earlier this season for next year. Now, I don't remember if that was the final year of his contract then, but I'm pretty sure Falvey and the manager got their contract options exercised earlier in the spring for next season. But I don't know about full extensions or anything like that.
Yeah,
so they're scheduled to be back next year is the point.
Yeah, and I, at this point, how do you evaluate him? Because if you're going to evaluate him negatively for this year, it has to be for what had happened up to the trade deadline. Because he can't possibly, I don't think, be held responsible for what you're throwing out there now, right? It's an utterly remade bullpen where you're just throwing people out there just to see what they have because out of necessity. You just don't have enough bodies. And even parts of the rotation, what you're experimenting with, I'm not going to hold, the manager responsible for the team, 40% of the team being gutted. Even if you think the moves were good, I don't think you can hold it against them if they limp in the last, close to the last 2 months of the season, right? So to me, you'd have to evaluate him on what had taken place up until the trade deadline. And
it's also a little weird, though, with Pablo being hurt for most of the season.
That's true.
Like, yes. I know one ace shouldn't just completely torpedo, but that's a big line of when things started to fall off, right? Once he got hurt, they didn't have that guy. And other guys didn't fill the space.
Dan, KFAN should be an inspiration to the Twins. Think of the talented group of guests you land with a less than robust budget, especially since G. Mason has to take up most of it. That's from Clayton in Rochester. That's well played.
Are you nuts?
Think about it. There's some truth to that. We don't have, we have a limited payroll when it comes to, providing remuneration, or is it remuneration? I don't know what the term is for guests.
We're definitely capped.
And we're definitely capped.
It's a hard cap.
And yet, pretty good cavalcade, I think. I feel pretty good about the roster. Pretty deep. Pretty committed to the bit, right?
Good culture.
I think a pretty good culture as well.
We have a good culture set, yeah.
I'm not sure they would look at it that way over there, though. Although, like I said, now I don't even know. I don't even know what the grand plan is going to be. So, does this mean Falvey is safe?
I think his option was exercised, and now he's the team president, too.
Yeah,
Remember, that's the other weird thing about this whole deal.
That's true.
He's the new Dave St. Peter, and Derek Falvey. He's got both roles now.
Do you think we need to bring Levine back?
I miss Levine. I like Levine on with PA.
Yeah.
He's a funny guy.
Maybe that's where we went south. I'm not sure.
And we still don't really know the whole story there. He went to just pursue opportunities, and I don't know what he's pursued. He's been on a Gleeman and the Geek podcast, and that's the only time I've seen him.
This is one of the more unique texts we've received recently. This is from Wedgwood Shipper Guy. I'm flipping between Bumper to Bumper and the Alfred Hitchcock classic North by Northwest.
Okay.
Is there anybody cooler than Cary Grant in that movie? Is Hitchcock impossible for the kids? No, I don't think he's impossible for the kids. And no, there is nobody cooler than Cary Grant in that motion picture. That's an interesting juxtaposition, though. Flipping between one of the great Hitchcock movies of all time, North by Northwest, and Bumper to Bumper.
And how do you decide when you go back and forth?
I guess he gets bored with something I've said and then says, I'm going back to see Cary Grant.
But
But nothing in the movie is boring, so what brings him back to us? I have no idea. Can't be that Cary is boring.
No.
You want to talk about a guy who knew how to wear a suit?
Yeah. They all did back then.
They did. It's true. Well, we've talked about this before. Look at old films of
ball games.
Ball games.
Or airplane flights.
Or
anything.
People just walking down the street, downtown Minneapolis or downtown Chicago or downtown Los Angeles, any big city. They're all dressed up. Did they know something? Is there something? Is there a dignity?
I think there is.
To that
You're
we
organized.
do not understand and do not properly appreciate because I dress down as much as anybody.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in a suit.
It's one of the perks of the job.
Target.
That's right.
But people used to wear a suit to walk to whatever dime store. What dime store would have existed at the time? In our town, Chicago area, was one called Kresge's. I don't know if that was big here, long before Target. What was the one also before Target that was big? It was a discount store, but it wasn't Target. It had a different name. It can't come to me. What was here before Target? Do you know?
I don't remember.
In that realm?
I don't remember a world without Target.
Yeah. How far back does that go?
Got to be the 80s. I mean, Target Center came in 1990. So it's got to be back pretty far.
You're probably right.
There was such a thing called your Sunday best. You got to put on your Sunday best.
That's exactly right.
Like, was it Annie? We're putting on the Sunday best. We're going to the movies.
One of the movies, going to see a ball game.
Sunday best.
People are dressed up going to the ball game.
Should we do that? Start this at the State Fair? Just dress up, you and me? Or should we just wear our Enough Said polos on Friday?
What are the odds on the canopy?
Not good.
Not good.
Not good.
That didn't go anywhere?
Did not go anywhere. 1 year. We'll get it.
No, it's not going to happen.
I think it will. I still believe.
Do you?
But I also believe I'm the one that has an open mind about this Pohlad thing, so I don't know if I'm the right guy.
I want to also apologize to the listener who had not yet watched.
Up in the Air?
No. Well, no. That would probably be another one. No, they had not watched the wind chill knock off the Chicago Union 12-0. They had it on their DVR, and now it's ruined. They were going to watch it tonight. I apologize for not giving some kind of signal that we were going to talk about that game, which now has the wind chill back in championship weekend. I apologize.
Gear up for a hilarious night when Dane Cook returns to the Island Event Center. You can see his legendary style of stand-up comedy live at Treasure Island on Friday, October 24th. All the details are at ticasino.com. Show wrap brought to you by American Pressure, commercial-grade pressure washers since 1975.
It's the Bumper to Bumper show wrap.
Dan Winnesota reminds us that he apparently was a former Kmart employee, and he says Kresge turned into Kmart. I remember Kresge's, absolutely. A couple people are mentioning another store I remember growing up with called Zayres, Zayres, that predated Target, as I recall it. A lot of people are reminding us of Woolworths.
Oh, yeah.
That might be another decent example as well. I feel like there's still one other place in the Chicago area that I am not recalling for whatever reason. I'll try to do some I'm going to try to do some insight on that because it's going to drive me crazy. Kmart, though, was before Target, was it not?
I don't know the order, but it was around a long time.
Is Kmart completely gone? Are there any Kmarts
There's
left?
probably a handful, but none here, I don't
The
think.
Kmart Blue Light Special, remember those days?
I remember you talking about them.
Ben Franklin stores?
There's a few Ben Franklins around in smaller towns. At least they have the facade on there, which is cool.
Dan, what would KOC consider the weighty hours of your show? Is it the 3 or the 4 or the 5 o'clock hour? Can't make it up. That's the new one this year, the weighty downs during the course of the game. Oh, he's referring to KOC, talking about the weighty downs. Speaking of the robust KFAN guest lineup, LaShawn Salisbury be joining you this season. We are working on that as we speak. I hope the answer is yes. And as soon as we get any kind of confirmation, I will certainly pass that along. How many years have we had Sean now? Is it 3 or 4? Is it even longer than that?
I want to say it's about 3.
About 3. Yeah, it would be devastating to lose him. On the other hand, I've looked at it like, hey, look, he's given us a lot of time. And if he says, hey, my schedule's getting busy, it was a good run, I would not be at all offended. I would say, it was fun, and maybe we do something a little more intermittent with him. So we'll throw out all the best possibilities. Colorado Rockies figured it out. Just have fun, baby. Team means nothing. That's from quiet-ass fan guy Pete. So he's saying, don't even bother with the subterfuge.
Right.
Just make it about, we got a cute little club. You want to come out and see us? That's fine. But we're going to spend $1.50. And we don't care because we're terrible anyway.
And we're getting our money from the league.
Enough of it.
Whatever
anyway.
it is, yeah.
I don't know if they have a $450 million debt like allegedly we do, which still, I don't know that how that, has that ever been confirmed?
I mean, it was reported by The Athletic.
Yeah.
So I don't know if other people have reported it as well, but that's what they've been going with. It's hard to confirm when you can't really look at the books.
I'm not here to say it was invented, but it's obviously, it's one of those examples where it's very difficult to know what you're dealing with here because you're kind of at the mercy of the people who are floating it, unless the people reporting on it have actually seen some kind of the spreadsheet.
Right, which I doubt.
Which wouldn't be realistic either, would it? Mervyn's. People are mentioning Mervyn's.
Mervyn's, wow.
Are there Mervyn's left? I'm not even sure.
There used to be one in Eden
Venture.
Prairie, right?
That's the one in Chicago. Good callback. Venture, at least in the Chicago area, there was a store called Venture that was very Target-like. Not as good, I don't think, but it predated
Nothing could be.
No, I
it's
don't
a Minnesota company.
I mean, there's, of course, a great difference between a Target Greatland and just an average Target. You know that, too, don't you?
I love the Target Greatland.
You
it was
can't
such
get
a
enough
big
of
deal.
the Greatland.
It was a big deal when there was a Greatland in your neighborhood.
That's changed everything.
You go, is it Target or Greatland?
Yeah, very, very true. I do want to thank Peter Bursich, who joined. He made good on his recommitment to the bit and joined us between 3:30 and 4 o'clock. Had one phone malfunction, but we fixed that. A lot of Vikings discussion with him and Jonny Athletic, and it ended up being mainly a ball guy discussion because the debate lives on and on and on about how stupid Twins fans are and what they expect and how they're unrealistic their demands are. And, a lot of them just don't know that it's not always just about money, which, of course, has never really been the argument, but it's much easier to argue your position on that if you create a straw man argument, and that's sadly what's happened in that particular case. Tomorrow, among our guests, Kevin Seifert and Andy Luger in studio.
That's right.
Seifert and Andy Luger in studio, a very important discussion with him, linking to a subject we talked about with ESPN guy last week. Hope you join us. It starts at 3 o'clock.